So what were you doing on September 11th?
What I was doing when the planes went into the buildings was holding a press conference out in front of a church, complaining about the fact that the IRS is punishing churches and pastors that get involved in politics. And we have a bill to eliminate that ability of the IRS to punish pastors. Unfortunately, while I was speaking, the plane went into the Pentagon, and we were whisked away by my security.
Well, as the Majority Whip of the U.S. House of Representatives, you have Mike Rogers, a freshman representative, as one of your deputy whips. Is that what you call him?
Yes, he's my deputy whip.
And what made you select Mike Rogers?
Well, it was quite obvious to me. He came from, he had a reputation that preceded him because of his service in the state Senate. We helped him get elected, so we got to know him. We watched him immediately as he came into the House. It was obvious that his freshman colleagues looked up to him as a leader. I recognized that immediately, and I wanted that leadership to be working in my whip organization.
President Bush just had one of the most successful, I guess it was the most successful fundraiser ever held, in generating over $35 million. And yet tonight you talked about the importance of money, but more importantly it was the grassroots efforts of the people. What do you mean by that again?
Well, money is very important to politics, obviously. It's vitally important to raise the kind of money that you need to raise in order to tell your story out there. Obviously the media is the way you do that. But the most important part of winning elections is having a volunteer corps that's on the ground, knocking on doors, identifying those voters, registering them to vote, and then getting them to the polls. The Democrats have proven very good at that over the last couple of elections, and we've got to improve upon that. So I'm here to energize the Republican Party of Livingston County to get out there and knock on those doors and drag those people to the polls.
Well, Representative Mike Rogers taking a few minutes of his time tonight at the Lincoln Day dinner here at Lakeland Golf and Country Club in Hamburg Township. Thanks for taking a few minutes. I appreciate it.
Honored to do it.
I wanted to ask you what you thought of tonight's event.
I thought it was great. We had over 250 people show up to celebrate Abraham Lincoln and the Republican Party. It started right here in Michigan, so it's always excited to get that many folks who are committed to the principles of democracy and freedom in the same room. It makes it for a very fun evening. Yeah. And to have, obviously, the Majority Whip come in was a big deal for us, and we're pretty excited to have him.
Right. You had a few words with him, so we'll be hearing about that later.
Great.
I was going to ask what you were doing on September 11th.
I was in my office actually preparing to testify before a hearing on my bill that would make sure that Social Security money couldn't be moved out of the Social Security Fund. That was so it was quite a shock, obviously, and the committee was canceled, and all our lives, I think, were thrown in turmoil right after that. But it was a day you just won't forget. I think every American will always remember where they were on the day of September 11th. Pretty powerful stuff.
Pretty powerful, right. 18 months in the office, what would you consider to be your best accomplishment?
You know, I don't know if I can point to a single bill, but just the fact that we're able to take the country forward. My work on something called the Patriot Act was, I think, significant. I covered that bill from, the first page to the last page at the request of the Attorney General personally and the President because of my experience in the FBI. And what I think we did is set the path of the country for the future to be secure. For years, we neglected, beat on, segregated, and underfunded intelligence operations for terrorism here and abroad. That's fixed now, and we've got agencies that talk to each other. We're able to run operations overseas to catch these folks before they get to the shores of the United States. And I'd have to say in the 18 months, if I had to pick one area, that would be it. We've done some pretty neat things with tax relief and others, but that's the bill that I was as close as I could get to that I think did all of those things and still protected our liberties, which I thought was really important.
Representative Mike Rogers, I appreciate you taking